Hi, it's Sally-Shakti, and I just co-led another writing session at Osho Leela with Navanita. It's amazing what a very, quite a simple format can really do to support people. With writing as a process. Lots came out of the workshop. It's fun. People had fun. It can be cathartic. It can be playful. It can be therapeutic. It can just be interesting. The way that Navanita and I are developing our rhythms as we work together, and our rhythms and flows, our trust in each other, timings were a lot better this time. We're really getting quite a rhythm with the writing workshop format, and I love to see the way that people transform through that process. At the beginning, we have a short sharing where everybody shares their relationship with writing, and everybody does have a relationship with writing, whatever that is. And in the groups that we've run, there's always a mix of people who have more positive and more literally traumatized relationships with writing, and I find it incredible to be able to bring all of those people together with all of their different experiences and see them all engage and embody and transform, and all of them leave the session with a thumbs up and a big smile on their face. It's really, really powerful, and such a supportive process, and such a I need to schedule an interview with Navanita so that we can both talk about this together. We'll have some really, we riff off of each other with the energy, and we'll have some really interesting and aligned things to say about the way that we see writing and the way that we practice writing, and the two words that really summarize my writing practice and what I love to share with others. The two words are embodied and alchemical, and that's what makes the difference. I've been thinking to talk about this for a few days, actually. The difference between writing or words or language that nourishes me and writing that I would say makes me sick. Some combinations of words make me feel nauseous. Some combinations of words and their impact make me feel exhausted, drain my energy. A couple of weekends ago, I was in London with my beloved. That's when I bought the Mexico City Blues, the Kerouac book, and read that in Highgate Wood. And what I noticed as we were driving around, especially on our way in and out of London, was the number of billboards and advertisements and posters on the sides of buses and signs on the side of buildings and fences, and there were words around us everywhere we went, in every direction. And I notice words because I also call myself a compulsive reader, which for me means if there are words in front of me, I will read them. It's what I do. I read and I write. And so actually, I'm just looking around my little home here. There are very few words on display, and the words that are here on display have been selected by me to be affirming and to um, be very spacious and uplifting. Often I will create some affirmations that I'm working with. I have a small vision board with a few words on it, one for my creative practice. I've got a sigil, which I'll probably talk about in another video at some point, and a simple poem that I made when I first came here to Leela. And that's it, other than the limited number of book covers that I have on the shelf at the moment. Because if there are words around me, I will be reading them, and not just once. I will be reading them continuously. If there are words around me, my mind is busy with them continuously, unless I specifically direct my focus of attention away from the words. So in my own environment, other than the books on the shelves, which hold the energy and resonance of words, and I've spoken about that in a previous video, I keep my space relatively clear and free of words. As I said, the words that I choose to put around me are spacious and affirming. And if I went back to one of those words, it's alchemical. I use the words around me that I see frequently to not only affirm but create change in my energy field and in my life. And that's why I'm very particular and selective about the words that I have around me, because I know from basic kind of affirmation practice that the repetition of words and the frequent repetition of words, especially once they become they enter my energy field on a subconscious level, changes my energy field. That's part of the alchemy of language, the magic of words. Words that I am energizing regularly through reading or writing or speaking or hearing, or any other form by which those words enter my energy field and physically enter my body through their vibration, through their resonance. Repeated exposure to those words or phrases changes my energy field, changes my physical body, and changes my perception of reality and my physical reality. This, for me, is the alchemy of words in its most potent and basic form. So as I said, I'm very selective and spacious about the words that I keep around me. And I noticed when I was in London and we were driving around, the assault of words on my nervous system, my energy field and my body. My mind was continuously busy with the words that were surrounding me in all directions, which are mostly absorbed unconsciously by most people, because they are just there. They're just part of the landscape, the furniture. And I noticed that those words predominantly and primarily were instructions or prohibitions or imperatives to buy through marketing. And really this is the energy of language that most people encounter most of the time on a very subconscious level on a daily basis through repeated exposure to the point where it becomes unnoticeable. And that does something, that changes the alchemy in the body, the mind, the energy field, the sphere of reality. And those words, I find an assault. I find them energetically draining. And they tend also, I'm thinking more widely about how words are used in the media as well now. They tend to keep me, my body, my energy field, people in general, I would say, in a state of crisis and in a state of fear, and in the mind, focused in the mind, and how really we've learned to use and read and respond to words and language through Western schooling and education. Remembering that I was a teacher for 10 years, a secondary school English teacher, and I've seen how it works. The ways that we are taught to use language are reinforce those same messages, those same structures, that same functionality often. And so for me, it's when I or we can bring writing back down into our bodies, into my body, more consciously aware of the impact of words on my energy field and how I feel in my body when I'm exposed to certain words, then becoming more discerning about which kinds of words and which combinations of words and which how much intensity of words I choose to expose myself to. Because language is alchemical, and often it enters our energy fields and our bodies on a very unconscious or subconscious level, through repeated exposure and familiarity. And often I find that that is an assault of, like I said, information, prohibition, instruction, and imperative to buy. What would it be if we really changed our relationship with words? Because I don't believe that language itself is the problem. I do recognize that language is limited. It's human. It has form and structure. It is limited. It's necessary that language is limited. I spoke about this on a previous video because that's, in my practice, how I bring nebulous ideas and free, I can't remember how I put it now, but infinite ideas into form, into finite reality, into this material world. Those limitless ideas must take form in language and then become limited. So language is limited and it's limiting, but actually there's a lot more freedom to play with language by noticing how its rhythms speak to and dance with and sing through our bodies, and noticing how certain sounds feel and where they impact physically and emotionally in our bodies, and the resonance of sounds, words, phrases, ideas. And that's just the beginning of how, in my practice and what I love to share, how I hope that we are shifting our relationship with language so that that becomes a more embodied process, a more embodied practice, and begin to create new rhythms, new structures, and new, as I've said before, new ways of being on this earth. So, when I come together with other writers in a room and we're co-creating that space and we are breathing and feeling our bodies and noticing our emotions and our sensations, there's so much we can do to bring language back to life. Let's bring language back to life. Yeah. Thank you.